I thought the biggest problem and the worst thing about my Florida trip was the absolutely demolished, destroyed trailer connection that provides the lights, you know, turning lights and things like that. But no, we got to Florida and my SUV started shaking so badly on the way to the beach, our favorite beach. We were headed to Florida to close out that storage area that had cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. The budget was already tight. I'd had everything figured out, but of course I had a little bit of, you know, extra leeway in there in case something happened. However, it was not a cheap trip. Had to go all the way from Arizona to Florida. Gas was a lot. I knew on the way back I would have to do hotel rooms. Yeah, it was a lot going on. Flynn and I were making our way across the country. Heck, Texas alone is a big part of the country when you're in the south part, right? So we did have a good time. We saw a lot of things and enjoyed some good weather, but it was really hot. However, the one morning was very sweet because we both love animals. I know he's one, but he doesn't know he's one. And so we woke up, went outside for him to go potty, and we see some sweet faces looking across the fence at us. I stopped for gas a lot of times, actually, because when you're only getting like 10 to 12 miles per gallon, it's not a good thing. And I noticed, I always try to check my connections and look things over when I stop. And my connection to the trailer from the SUV was, it was on the ground. And it was definitely had road rash. And there were 2 out of 4 pieces, like the prong pieces, missing. I kind of flipped out, to be honest with you. I didn't know what to do. And I thought, I am so stuck, because if you don't have that, you can get a ticket. It's very dangerous. Somebody might not know I'm stopping. Yeah, I don't live that way. I'm not wild and crazy that way. So somebody in the gas station was really helpful, and she told me about a auto parts store in the next town over, about 25 minutes away. So I actually put the connection back in and kind of, you know, jerry-rigged it and tried to secure it, and the lights worked. Parked, I ran in, and I got the pieces I needed to fix that connection. However, I don't know how to do that. There's good old YouTube, which I thought maybe I could try that. I've never done electrical work, but I thought, is it that hard to do? Probably not. But I also thought about my safety, right? I need to make sure people stop when I stop. They see me stopping or turning or whatever. So I asked the guy in the auto parts store, I'm like, do you know of somebody that could repair this? And so he gave me a card of a local guy. I get back in my SUV, I call him, and he tells me that just to show up is $125, and then it's $125 an hour. So, I mean, it shouldn't take that long for him to repair. He's an expert, right? But still, that is a lot of money. And so I told him, I said, you know, I really appreciate your time. I'm so sorry. That's just way more than I can pay. So I thank you. And we hung up. So I'm praying about what to do, and I'm thinking about it and trying to should I risk it because my lights are working right now, and it'll, you know, I just keep checking it, making sure things are working, or what do I do? You know, what do I do, Lord? So the phone rings, I pick up, and it's that mechanic. He's calling back to say he will do it for half price. So I'm like, that's great. Let's do it. He and his wife arrive in a huge truck. So he clearly is used to actually repairing big trucks, like big equipment. And that's what he said. He does like excavators and the big trucks or whatever. Not my little tiny trailer that's 6x10. Well, 6x12. I would say 6x10 because that's what it is. There's no extra 2 feet in the nose. But anyways, so he and his wife are wonderful people, and we get to talking, and I told him how I prayed about things and everything. They're Christians. So how cool is that? So he repairs it. I'm good to go, back on the road. We checked all the signals and everything, made sure brake lights, everything goes off, and I'm, you know, I pay and I'm on my way. So pretty neat. That was unexpected answer, right? You gonna come up here? You gonna come up? Everybody wants to see you. No? Okay. No more drama on the way to Florida. We get there. We are working hard Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all day, sweating, roasting, even though it's a climate controlled storage unit, still crazy hot, right? So we Sunday morning, I'm like, you know what, Flynn, we're getting up early and we are going to go enjoy our favorite beach, the one that used to be just a few miles down the road from us, and that we love to go and play ball and walk around way before anybody or hardly anybody else would be there, you know, before the rest of the humans would show up. So we start on our way and everything seems fine. We're driving along and all of a sudden my SUV starts shaking, scary shaking. First thought was, we're not making it to the beach. Second thought is, how do I know I'm not going to blow up my engine? And so I actually called my friend, who's wonderful and was very patient with me and helped guide me through some different ideas on what to do. And he had a great idea. He said, why don't you go to an auto parts store again, right? And use that code reader, have them use the code reader to see what's going on and figure out what to do from there, because you'll be there if you need parts, you know, you might be able to get it and do something, or at least you'll have more information, because I already had an appointment with a mechanic, my mechanic I totally trust in Jacksonville, wonderful people, family run business. And so I thought, okay, that's a good idea. So I actually talked to him for a while as it was shaking, and I drove up to Jacksonville Beach to a store there. So I got there a little bit before they opened. The guy got there early and he waved, you know, it was okay to come in early. So I got in there, borrowed the code reader, and came out and discovered it said cylinder 1 misfire. Well, that's huge. Called my friend and we talked it through. And so I thought, okay, good. I've got my information. I'm good, right? But when I started talking to him, he's like, no, fix the engine coil. Just do the repair, because worst case, it might be the spark plug underneath it that needs to be repaired as well, not just the engine coil. But you've got to start knocking off like the possibilities of what it could be. And I was like, oh man, I've never done this before. But I'd taken it off, you know, and I saw it wasn't too hard to do that. We had looked at it, the auto parts store guy and I. And so I did it, folks. I actually went back in, purchased a fully warranty, lifetime warranty engine coil, and I put it on. And so I borrowed the tools, thanks to auto repair shops that have tools for you to borrow. Put it on, and then she ran beautifully, and she was much happier. So that was like $78 or something, I want to say, for that. If I paid labor to somebody else, would have been a lot more, right? So, oof, yeah, big big relief to have it run properly and to not be crazy expensive. So the trailer, I got a repair person that gave me a good price, right? And then with the SUV, I had a wonderful friend that's very knowledgeable about engines and cars and stuff like that, and an auto parts guy that was helpful. And you know what? My friend pushed me to be brave, and I took him up on that challenge, and it paid off, right? It paid off. So between those two repairs, it was $200, which it could have been a lot more money than that, but God provided different ways, different answers, different kind of solutions, the way they came about. But oh, I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh, so grateful. My mechanic looked it over on Tuesday, and the only thing he could find wrong was that it needed a new air filter. It was too dirty. And so it was like, all he would charge me was $60 to check it all over. I asked him to check the drivetrain and the tires, the brakes, like everything. Just check it all over, because I had another big trip to take back, right? 2,200 miles to get back. And he wouldn't charge me any more for his time. They're amazing people. So I actually got them sandwiches and brought them over another day. It's just amazing to me how God provides. There's all these different ways. I'm not anybody special, right? I'm not like God's anointed one or something. I'm just a goofball woman who's trying to do what she believes she should be doing, that I believe God guided me to live in Arizona and to change things up and live out of this camper. And yeah, I'm nobody, but still God provided. So God's provision comes in different forms, right? Sometimes it's money or saving money. Sometimes it's a repair person. Sometimes it's a friend on the other line, the other end of the line, I should say. And we just don't know, but we have to be open to that. right? I think that's a good lesson. And it was a good reminder for me because I've seen him help me. God help me in a lot of ways, but every time it's different. There's no like cookie cutter solution, right? Which is kind of cool actually. But man, you got to walk on faith, don't you? Because, yeah. So I'm going to tie this into starting over at 50 because that's what I've done. You might be interested in that as well. And so when you start over at 50, you have to be flexible, right, in your plans. You have to try to be wise about it, do some planning, but you also need to be open to what God is leading you to do. And if something wacky happens, know that He is with you. He's not like, see you later, you got a problem, I'm out. He's going to help you grow in your faith and understand another facet to Him, another side of Him, whatever you want to call it. But He truly is like a holy Father that guides us, holds our hands, even when we feel like He is not anywhere nearby. Or we just feel like it's not important enough. What does He care about this? He does. He actually does. I'm living proof of it. I'm still here walking after years of different things going on and different difficulties, like I'm sure you all have had, because I'm not a victim, right? I'm not the only one in the world this has happened to. I'm not just talking about repairs. I'm talking about life and the crap it sends at us, right? This life, it makes you brave. When you step out and you decided to start over, it's a start, right? And then you might get some challenges to like see how committed you are to that. You might get some frustrating things happen. You're going to have people say, oh, you don't want to do that. Well, if you feel led to do that, that is on you, right? That's nobody else can tell you what to do because that's the joy actually of starting over. And the peace that comes with it, it's not easy. It can be a hard battle at times. But I hope that you'll take that first step. I hope that you will trust God to guide you. I hope that you will step out on faith because He's moving the camera. Because I can't even tell you how it has changed my life. And I have become this woman that I never thought I would be. I'm much more brave than I ever thought I would be. And that is by the grace of God. So this life, it makes you brave. Next time I will take you with me on the storage unit closing out job. And boy, it was a lot more and a lot deeper and a lot more emotional than just physical stuff. I'll see you then.